Welcome to another edition of Back Talk, brought to you from the Southeastern Studios in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Each episode, you'll hear from board-certified physicians as they explore the latest in medical procedures that are now helping get more and more people out of pain and back to their active lives.
Dr. Shell,
how's it going?
how are you?
This is good. First time on our podcast. I like it.
Yeah. Well, so how long has it been since you've been in the practice?
I started September of 22. So we're coming up on 2-year anniversary here in a few months.
Seems like a lot longer than that. No, I'm kidding.
Why does it feel like 5 years?
No, it doesn't. Actually, it doesn't. So it's not been 2 years yet.
Yeah,
so,
not quite.
So
getting there.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, I don't know. To me, it seems like it's gone pretty good. I mean, you've enjoyed being here.
And, for sure. I mean, I think you've only had to bail me out like close to 150 times.
No,
I think,
don't say that. Move up. Close? Yeah, move up closer. No, you're not too close. But no. So I
was at a play in elementary school and I stood too close to the microphone and I have PTSD from it.
Yeah. So, but so I have such a terrible memory, but so you were in practice for what, almost
right at 2 years.
2 years.
Right at 2 years. Yeah.
And when we approached you and hired you, and you've been in practice for 4.5 years, basically, right?
Yeah. Started August of 20. So yeah.
And you got your board certification, what, a year and a half ago, something like that?
Something like that. Yeah. Cause it ends up, I mean, your all's is different than ours, but you got to practice for a little while and then they kind of give you a little wiggle room. Then you got to get 6 months of cases and then you submit that and then they give you a little time to follow those people up and they catch your disasters and, good things. And then they filter it out about who they want to talk to you about.
You didn't have any disasters. I'm not aware of any disasters.
No, nothing like that. But they want to see how far along it goes before they, start to dig under those files and see what's what.
Yeah, we were talking about it before. It's like, it's a really interesting process. And I'm sure, patients and people that are not in medicine would be interested to kind of know about the process of becoming board certified and what it means. It's sort of a double-edged sword, I guess. It's, you've had patients, I'm sure, tell you, I don't want any trainees operating on me. And, how many of these surgeries have you done? And those are all really, really valid questions. And you would like to think that everybody that's a physician or everybody that's a surgeon has, a ton of experience and has done this particular operation hundreds, if not thousands of times, but it's just not possible because you would never, nobody would ever be able to train, and no new doctors would ever, be able to do surgery. So there has to be a process of training and certification, and it's just a kind of a fascinating, process. I think, what patients don't necessarily understand is when you're in residency, you're doing hundreds, if not thousands of cases, in close contact with, some of the most experienced surgeons in the country. So you get a lot of experience before you actually come out. So, I mean, what do you think about all of that?
I mean, I think graduated autonomy is like the buzzword that people throw around that most probably normal people don't even know what that means. And it's, the autonomous part of surgery where I'm operating by myself and I'm the one making the decision and I'm the one deciding what step is next and what should be done next. And the whole medical education system, the training part of that system, I think is built on that. And that was always what, everybody wants to operate by themselves, but you have to kind of slowly let that leash out just a little bit. And, the people who are in those training programs are, experts at that,
Right.
These two people could be in the same year, but you're not ready to go yet. You're a little bit, I can let the leash out a little bit. I can focus over here, and everybody eventually gets there. It's just kind of how that goes. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the hardest thing to gauge as a trainee, and as even to convey that to patients, is where you feel like I'm comfortable doing this operation, and where this is why I'm recommending the surgery, or this is why I'm, telling you that this is the next best step, because that's what I'm comfortable doing. And I'm not going to recommend something that either I haven't had good experience with, or I wouldn't recommend you doing because I don't know how to do it.
Right.
You know?
So, I mean, one of the things that I think is unique about our practice is that, you know, we're all together. Like, I've been in a couple of different practice environments where I've had partners, but I've been by myself, you know, meaning, you know, Dr. So-and-so is in the office and I'm in the operating room all day. And if I run into a problem, you know, I have to call them to come, and it's an ordeal, you know, and I've never been in a practice or seen a practice that works the way our practice does. And I hope that there's more practices out there like our practice in this regard. But, you know, explain sort of with you coming into the practice, like what do you think about it, and how and explain, you know, what I'm talking about if you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, so, you know, the majority of practices, I think, in the country, like you said, are kind of these silos where each doctor is in the group, but you're kind of operating in your own silo. You're in clinic by yourself. You're in the operating room by yourself. Private practice especially can be almost a, for lack of a better word, lonely time. You're very much, you know, fighting a one position fight. Maybe you have a PA who's with you, but there's not a lot of camaraderie there. And I think a lot of us miss that from training programs, either operating with a co-fellow or a co-resident or a junior resident or whatever. And I think that, you know, our practice is incredibly unique like that, because I'm with you. I don't know, in all of my friends and other, you know, specialties, spine included, arthroplasty, whatever, I don't know anybody else that does it the way we do. You know, maybe you have a little bit of overlap in clinic occasionally, or, you know, once a month you guys, you know, scrub together or whatever. But where ours is set up, where we are all, or the majority of us are in one place at one time.
Well, be specific about that. Like, what you mean, like we're all in the operating room together and helping each other out and physically present in the operating room with each other. And you're holding a retractor for me, I'm holding a retractor for you. You're asking me, hey, what do you think about this? And what should I do here? And I'm asking you similar questions. And it's a camaraderie that's, and sometimes it's tough. Like we're tough on each other. I think in a good way where, you know, and maybe you're a little bit shy to do that since you're, you know, not as seasoned as I am, or Dr. Paletti or Dr. Frisch. But, you know, that healthy criticism where we sort of challenge each other and say, you know, what are you thinking here? Well, you know, why are you doing it like this? And have you thought about doing it this way? Or let me give you a hand with that. It's just, I mean, it's first of all, it's just a great environment. It's just fun. I mean, and to have that sort of camaraderie and that level of support from each other. But I think it's got to be great for you in particular, just to know you've got, you know, somebody to help you out when you need help. And, you know, you don't need help none of us need help very often, but sometimes we do.
No, I mean, I do. Just today, I had Frisch help me out to try to find this disc fragment that was chasing away from me and getting down. And that's a perfect example of.
Did he find it?
Yeah. But if I, you know, and while he was in there and, you know, watching me go along, he's like, hey, you know, drop your hand here, go after this, you know, to try to make it more efficient, right? Because we're all trying to be better, safer, more productive surgeons to accomplish the goal with as little anesthesia as possible. And that is always a benefit. And I think it's good for the patients. It's good for us. You don't ever feel stuck. You don't ever feel like you aren't going to get the goal of the surgery accomplished. And I think that's a great thing.
We hope you enjoyed this edition of Back Talk and learned something new. Look for other podcasts from Southeastern Studios as we explore the latest in medical procedures that are helping more and more people living in pain get back to their active lives.